Citizens would like to speak to us on items not on the agenda. And then if there are council members with announcements, ideas, or questions, if you would punch up, that would be helpful. Kyla Dokes and Tim Boyd. Good evening.
Kyla Dokes and I are here tonight to once again plead for a little bit more help in our Council District 5. We've recently had another murder in Oak Park last week, on 16th Avenue, which seems to be an ongoing trouble spot. We've called for police services. I'm working with a number of citizens in that area that have also been placing calls for service. The feedback I'm getting is the police just aren't around. We don't see any police officers over there. We live probably about maybe 10 blocks from a substation, and to just be able to stand out there when I get off of work for maybe 3 or 4 hours and not see one patrol car passing by, to me is just kind of unacceptable. So we're here tonight to basically beg for some help in our district.
Also, in regards to the murder, unfortunately there was a cat that was burned, and the cat got more news coverage than this murder did. And it just saddened us in Oak Park that we felt bad for the cat, but also that a human life can be taken in broad daylight in front of children, and so long for a police response. And we know that the budget passed, and the city of Sacramento, if I'm correct, will be allotted 27 new officers.
This city council voted to add 27 additional officers to our force. Yes, the city council did that.
Once again, right, just on the street, we desperately do need them. And we know it's a big city and you guys have to take care of us all, but we are just very concerned. Thank you.
Well, we're certainly trying, and your council member reminds us on a daily basis. In fact, we had a discussion earlier today with our city manager about the need to spend some more time and attention in Oak Park in terms of police services. And I'll ask Ms. Hammond if she'd like to add anything. She certainly is talking with us all about this.
I did talk to them about this earlier today. You guys don't know what all I've been working on, but let me just tell you this. Well, part of this I think I should tell you privately, because I do have an understanding of what happened with the gentleman who was shot and killed, and it just wouldn't be appropriate for me to talk about it in this setting. But I'll tell you about that later. The 14 homicides in Council District 5 in the last 14 months, 13 have been in Oak Park. And out of that 13, the last 4 have been in South Oak Park. So I think it would help if we could get some of the neighbors like you all who are brave enough to do some organizing. And we need some multilingual help with that organizing. Mm-hmm. Now, ACORN is out here. I don't know what they're doing, but what they need to do is to help organize the neighbors. No one expects you to go up against drug dealers and people that are driving 100 miles an hour down 16th Avenue or 33rd or 34th. I actually have been driving through your neighborhood weekly. But we do need some good neighbors that are going to stand up. And we're 19 votes short on a traffic management plan. And if we don't get those 19 votes soon, I guess I'm just going to have to bring it to council and declare it that they get the traffic management that they need. And that'll at least give us, that would, well, but at least go out and try and help get those 19 votes.
We've been doing that on a regular basis.
So you have been part of that.
We live in a neighborhood that's almost probably 80% renters, and a lot of them, like you said, there's a language barrier, so when they see us coming, a lot of times they'll just close the door.
That's why we need,
we've been trying to get some.
That's why we need the diversity
right, exactly,
of the volunteers that reflects the neighborhood.
Right, it is a very diverse.
So we thought maybe in this extreme case, the city council would just kind of use their judgment and say, well, this neighborhood needs, nobody in our district is really traffic experts, but we all do know that we need the speed bumps. So, we've kind of come to the conclusion, can't we just have the speed bumps? Everybody, you can plainly see that it's
well, you'll be the only ones in the city that will just declare it so.
Sure.
But I understand the challenges that we have in South Oak Park, and I have been talking to the city manager, and I will be talking to the chief about some different types of strategies that we can utilize. Because what we need to do is we need to put a concentrated effort south of 12th and north of Fruit Ridge, and we know what the other two parameters are, and then we just need to hit them quick. So we're going to do, we had already talked about doing a strike force. I just don't want to advertise it because I want to catch them.
Yeah.
The code enforcement violators as well as the speeders, as well as the drug dealers, and it may not be gangs as much as it is drug dealing, and most of those murders are, in fact, drug deals gone bad. So we're going to continue to work on it, and I'm going to keep it on the minds of my colleagues here.
Yeah, we have been, as you know, we go to we have several neighborhood organizations. One of them is Cops and Coffee, so we meet on a regular basis with the POP officers and the police chiefs. But it kind of seems to go around in a circle. What we're getting from them right now is that they just don't have the resources to deal with this. And a lot of times, I don't know, you've all heard of Robin Ware has spoke on behalf of Opus here before, and they have told him he was robbed twice. And police officers came to his house and asked him if he ever thought about leaving Oak Park or moving out of Oak Park. Well, to us, that's not an acceptable answer to be getting from community service leaders.
And I keep hearing that, but nobody will
know.
tell me who the officers are. That's what I need to know.
Sure.
And I would rather you not tell me that over the microphones. But I would like to know what officers would use that as an answer, because they obviously need some retraining.
But what we will do on our behalf as concerned residents of Oak Park, we will get out there even more and try to meet with more neighbors and, you know.
And then let's
whatever.
keep, the information flowing so that I don't have to go back and talk to the same folks. We'll
Thank you.
we'll get to this.
Thank
We
you.
really will.
Appreciate your time.
Thank you very much. Mr. Thomas, did you want to add anything?
Thank you, Mayor. No, I've talked with Councilmember Hammond on this. The chief is aware of that. We did follow up with Mr. Ware to find out what officer had told him that. Mr. Ware was unable to give us a name. We are very concerned about Oak Park. In fact, Councilmember Hammond and I and the chief are going to do a little ride-along to take a look at Oak Park. So we will follow up per the agenda and see if we can deal with some of the problems. I think Councilmember Hammond is correct. Some of the unfortunate murders that have occurred have been associated with drugs, but it is a problem and we need to deal with it.
Thank you, Mr. Thomas.